We go then. All right, I'm still setting up. I know there's always a bit of time for people to come in, figure out what's going on. What the heck is this alert that I've got that says this guy from Stargate is trying to exercise again? How sad is that? Sorry for the sound as I try to desperately attempt to move my microphone to look something like it's pointing at me. I'm trying to get a microphone in here because the sound is so much better with a microphone. I have noticed. Anyways, all right. Well, I got me foggy glasses. I got me big mug of Wonder Woman. I got Wonder Woman today. I thought that would make a nice. Yeah, boy, it looks kind of cool in that. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, anyways. Hello, everybody. Yes, obviously, thoroughly exhausted from our. Oh my God, I did arms. There were arms involved in today, and I can barely lift Wonder Woman. My God, I needed coffee. Boy, I needed and deserved coffee, I must say. So here we find ourselves. We've got a new president. The old one refused to say goodbye. Kind of a weird situation watching that little inauguration thing happen up there. Jane is glued to the television. I dragged myself away because I just had to do my exercise. I gotta do. My goal is to try to get these things done before 11. Oh my God, Dave the Dude caught a live one. Yes, you did. Welcome. Welcome and congratulations. I gotta stop scrolling with that hand, don't I? Because it's right in front of the damn camera. Speaking of cameras, guess who's got a new phone showing up today? Apparently, I thought it was gonna be weeks and weeks to show up. But Jane tells me, because of course everything goes through Jane. So Jane tells me that it may be arriving today. So I'm kind of excited about that. I can barely see what's going on here with my damn foggy glasses. Hello, David. Big fan. Love your stuff. Well, thank you, Dr. McKay's Gaming. You've called Dr. McKay's Gaming. I like that. Nice mug. Isn't it grand? Look at that. The Wonder Woman I remember. I mean, the new one seems lovely enough and nice and strong and all. But boy, I tried watching that 1984 Wonder Woman 84, whatever it was. Ooh. Yeah, I was not. Baz and I were a little bit bored on that one. I don't know why they don't bother just making them into cartoons. Like they should just do animated versions of these things because the reality is all the talking stuff between the effects is boring anyways and silly in most cases. Although I love that Chris Pine guy. But just animate the whole thing. It just doesn't make sense. Hello, Governor. Nathan. Hello, Governor. Hello, Governor. Good afternoon from north somewhere. From the north of what? From North Germany, Hanover. Oh my gosh, I think I've been in Hanover when I was about 1 year old. I believe my dad was stationed out there for a bit. It was bad. LOL, yes. Any thoughts of rumors of new Stargate series? Isn't it amazing how I get that question every single morning? I've heard rumors, but I don't get told anything. So, my usual pitch is to do Stargate Academy and that I should be the Snape teacher of it. Okay, hi from me and Mikey. Hey, Steve and Cherry, you still working? Steve and Cherry. It's Steve, Cherry, and Mikey. You still doing your exercises? Still exercising together, getting fit in there? I always wanted Baz to do Taekwondo with me because I used to do Taekwondo and I thought that would get me back into Taekwondo, but he's not really interested in that. So it's the great thing about kids is I think they go out of their way not to be interested in anything you are. That's a nice looking David. Well, that is a sweaty looking David, maybe. Yo, what are you up to these days, McKay? I'm in my basement, I'm exercising, and I'm telling everyone about what a miserable process that is. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, a little bit of acting here and there. I got a couple of gigs on the go, but none of which. This is the problem with this modern approach to film and television. I'm not allowed to say anything to anybody, right? So I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitch. I'm not really allowed to say anything, so I slip up every so often. But for the most part, I'm not allowed to say what I'm on until they announce that I'm on it, basically. So I had a Wonder Woman costume when I was a kid. Good for you. I used to watch the Wonder Woman on television all the time. Hello, David. Hello, Lindsay. Yes, my name is inspired by your role of... Yeah, it better be Dr. McKay's Gaming. It better be. You better be damn good at the gaming, too. Wilshire, UK. We need a new Stargate. No kidding. Look at Gateworld, people. Is there anything new on Gateworld, Christopher Abbott? There's Gateworld. I got to say. So Gateworld, just for those of you who don't know this story, when I was first sort of signed on for Stargate, when I did the SG1, when I did the 38 minutes episode, I called up the producers and I said, like, what do I, because it was back in the day when one called people because one didn't have cell phones. Well, one did, but yeah, I mean, we didn't have, smartphones. Anyways, point being, well, I might have actually come to think of it because I was a bit of an early adopter on that stuff. Anyways, point being, I'm a little bit distracted today, obviously. Point being was, I called up. I said, "Look, I need some background information. I mean, I just don't have time between now and when I start shooting, which is in like 3 or 4 days, to catch up on all of the Stargate stuff I need to." I said, "Is there some kind of a Bible you could send me?" And when I arrived at the little apartment that they'd rented for me in Vancouver, because I was down in LA at the time, there was this massive book, and some jerk had printed out the entire Gate World glossary, basically, like the entire Wikipedia according to Gate World, and that was my Bible. So I got to look a whole bunch of stuff up. But I was duly impressed, and I've been a devotee of Gate World ever since. So they're a lovely bunch and an amazing site, and I hope they can sort of branch out. I mean, I know they've been looking into other science fiction and stuff, but just to lesser and greater degrees, I don't know. But and then also I just did Dial the Gate as well. Was it Dial the Gate? Is that what it was called? Or In the Gate? Dial in the Gate, Jump in the Gate, Talk in the Gate. McKay Gate. I don't know what it's called, but I just did one of those, and it was kind of fun too. I said that in response to their question about anything new coming. Oh, I see, Christopher. All right, you're saying right. You're saying I need like an FAQ to come up, but the problem with this thing, I'm not sure if I'm set up for this. There's no infrastructure on this. This is literally, I finished exercising, I stagger upstairs, I complain to my wife who doesn't want to hear it. So and then I grab a coffee, I come down and I whine to you instead. Is basically how it goes. Linda Carter Superior. She had a nice little cameo in the new Wonder Woman. I think probably my favorite part of the entire movie was that. Which isn't saying much, I've got to say. What books do you most recommend? I need some good new content for learning. I'm trying to think of books that I enjoyed recently. I mean, I read a bunch of stuff about maker spaces. I sort of delved into the whole sort of race relations stuff with, so you want to talk about race? Great book, great book. It'll, depending on where you are in the world and what you look like, you'll have different feelings about it. But it just completely opened my mind to a lot of stuff and a lot of things that I just hadn't even, I've been lucky enough to never realize. So you want to talk about race is a good one. The other one is An Inconvenient Indian. It's another one that my little sister Moira recommended. And Moira, oh, by the way, Moira's giving me permission to actually post that little article she wrote about one of our Tech Bandit sessions. So we did a session where we talked to Nate, this musician, it was a 17, 18-year-old musician who was kind enough to talk to the kids about how he got into music and gaming and all this kind of stuff. And it was like his first real interview. And so she sort of analyzed it from a curriculum and from a teacher's perspective, because that's what Moira is, a teacher and curriculum specialist. So I'm trying to persuade her now. I'm trying to gently coax her into joining the Tech Bandits cause and starting to link what I'm doing with the Tech Bandits with all this, kids, makers, electronics, 3D printing, biotech, all that stuff. Try to link that in some way to curriculum, or even find holes in the curriculum for kids right now, and help fill them with some Tech Bandit stuff. Because school did nothing for me. I hated school from the moment I arrived and couldn't leave fast enough and left way too early. So I would rather that didn't happen. But if it does happen, I at least want the kids to come out like I did, with a lifelong love of learning. Like, I never lost that. I was very, very lucky in that my parents were very supportive in my mad endeavors to do electronics and tear things apart and sometimes get them back together again. And of course, the acting and the writing and directing, all that kind of stuff. They were very supportive of that stuff. But I just want to make sure that people, I get a lot of kids, and myself included, when we first were sort of confronted with school, we hated it. And we didn't want to learn because we associated learning with school. And I want to break that. So I want Tech Bandits to be, oh yeah, no, we're learning stuff, but it's just got nothing to do with school. So, and that so far that's been pretty great. So we need a computer hologram of Rodney McKay to teach America's youth. Well, I don't know about that. I don't do a lot of teaching. I just try to sort of point them in the right direction. Why does YouTube never tell me you're live? Hello, Jonathan Layton Hoggett. Hey, it's Jonathan LH. Who's responsible for the giant CNC that as soon as it's warm enough, I will build in the garage. Thank you for the recommendations. I love to learn. Would you write a book yourself? Have you? No, I've not written a book. I don't know that I've got the. I don't know that I've got the discipline for that. I mean, I've toyed with the idea of sort of putting some stuff together around Tech Bandits and around my thoughts on learning. And education, but also my concern, my other concern that I'm getting now is I get a lot of questions about how to get into acting and film and television, all that kind of stuff. And I've not really addressed that at all with Tech Bandits. So I think I might do like a movie bandits and do a couple of sessions where we just talk about acting and writing and directing and how people should go about doing that, and or the, I suggest people. I mean, there's a million ways of doing it, but I would my suggestions. I always talk about like acting 2.0 because I always feel like actors are still approaching acting in the same way that they approached it, 15, 20 years ago. So movie bandits would be lit. Oh yeah, you like that? Okay, great. Well, that's. I mean, I think movie bandits might be the way to go. I'd love to call it film bandits, but I think film bandits is taken. I've looked at a bunch of domains and stuff, and I've actually started registering all the .org accounts because I think I may switch to techbandits.org because it's not. I mean, while I do want it to be a business in that I like it to make money so that I can then put money back into the business, I keep everything separate for Tech Bandits, right? That's the Patreon and the subscribers and donations and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's all of that just goes to the Tech Bandits cause, but I just don't see myself in a not for profit because of boards of directors and all that. I mean, just having to talk to other people about what I want to do with my own company just seems. I know myself too well to know that I will not flourish. I will not. What is the word I'm trying to go for? I've lost the power to speak. I will not flourish in that environment. Who's your favorite Rodney romantic conquest in SG? Mine was Keller. Least favorite is Kate. LOL. That was a disaster. What? I love Katie Brown. I thought Katie Brown was great. I mean, I felt very lucky in all of them, frankly. But yeah, I'm not sure that conquest is the right word. I would say that the women definitely had to say in all except maybe the Katie Brown relationship. I don't know. Katie Brown was definitely sort of more of the sort of traditional passive sort of befuddled girlfriend thing, but through no fault of her own. I think it was just like that was just the nature of what they were, how that character fit into the story. But as things progressed, I mean, I think if anything, the Kellers of the world made those decisions over the McKays, certainly. So, but then again, I'm sure McKay would not say that. I'm sure McKay would definitely refer to it as a conquest. All right. Got my 6-year-old to love Stargate Atlantis. Oh, great. And wants to be like Rodney McKay, a scientist. Yes, that's what we want. Also wants to say hi. He's watching you now. He's called Tenzo. Hello, Tenzo. Dr. McKay's Gaming, Tenzo. Well, Tenzo, when you're a little bit older, I mean, depending on where you are with things, you should look us up for Tech Bandits, and we'll get you in the Tech Bandits mix, and you can discuss some of this stuff. Not read a lot of fan fiction because honestly, I don't do a lot of reading anymore. I used to do a lot of reading, and now that there are audiobooks and now that there are podcasts, I spend all my time on like these nonfiction podcasts or audiobooks or YouTube videos. Like right now, I lull myself to sleep with Fusion 360 tutorials on YouTube now. I mean, it's just I feel this almost panic like need to learn things, and there's so much stuff out there to learn that I worry that I'm going to miss out on something. It's this FOMO of education that I'm just like, I gotta know everything and I gotta know it now. What happened to the jumper set after filming was done? That would be cool to have. I've got bits of it, not the puddle jumper, but of one of the shuttles, I guess, from SGU. I've got bits of that on the back of my. Here, I'll show you. I'll grab it. I will do a little tour for you. Because what else am I going to do? Not talk for too long. Jane points out that I've got things to do, so I can't be talking for too long today. But here, so unfortunately, it was made of foam originally. The giant chair was originally made of foam. Where are you? There you go. It was made of foam, so I sat my fat ass down on it and it cracked and broke. So I salvaged a bunch of the parts and I've started putting it onto my own chair. So this is just my desk chair that I use, but I've sort of started adding things like I'm doing a terrible job because the camera's backwards. Things like this to it. And then what I want to do, can you see that? I can't tell whether because I can't see. So so this is from the shuttle, the little control thing from that. And then of course, if I turn this, you can sort of see what's going on. Then you've got this back piece here. This lights up, as does this. But what I thought I would do is maybe put a cable that comes up the back, is attached to the ceiling and along, so that it has the plug. And I want to replace right now it runs on compressed air. So this system here, I don't know if you can see this very well, but this is sort of a little compressed air setup that swings that little arm into place. But it's a freaking killer. and it's gonna knock me bits off one day. So what I'm gonna do is replace it with a what are they called? God, I need like I've got my the thesaurus part of my brain or the dictionary part of my brain is missing today. I need one of those a linear activator basically, so a little electric version of the same thing of a piston that will extend that arm in a nice slow McKay speed and drop it into place for me. So I'm looking for a one of those that will fit. Actuator, that's it, linear actuator. Thank you. Favorite episode to film? Oh, it's so hard to say. I mean, there were so many different ones. I mean, some of them were fun for the action, some of them were fun for the acting, some of them were fun from the co-stars. I mean, actually, they were all fun for the co-stars for that point, for that matter. The cast was just lovely to work with. So, all right, I should get on with my day. I'm sorry, I'm not going to talk for long today. Did I just see a penguin hanging from your ceiling? Maybe. I ran out of space to put things on my. All right, I ran out of space to put things on my cabinets. So, and there were some things that I knew I was going to want to keep, but I didn't know what to do with them. So I started sort of just hot gluing them to the ceiling. So I've got, yes, there's a penguin hot glued to the ceiling over there, and then there's like a little robotic arm that I put up there, which I attached the camera to, so that I've got a little robo camera set up, which never seems to work right now. I keep screwing it up. So then I glued a bunch of LEDs to it. I just, here's the thing. I wanted to bring a little bit of like a little Hollywood to the educational process or to the education inspiration process. So I think I figure if it's exciting to me and my stupid little 10-year-old brain, I assume that it will appeal to the kids as well. So I do have a Raspberry Pi. I haven't done the cluster, but I've done a Raspberry Pi that has these hideous little blinking eyes, which are really cool. I put them on the Christmas tree. But I'm going to put them on one of our robots, so just to make things go. So how's the biohacking going? DIY in the ghetto. Not done a lot of it. I started in on this mushroom stuff though, and so I have a kit coming from the Odin, which everyone should go check out, theodin.com. It's Josiah Zahner's company, and he sells everything you could possibly need to get into biotech. But from a biohacking standpoint, from like you want to do it in your basement, you can do it. You can do PCR, you can do genetic engineering, and even gene therapies, all sorts of stuff you can be doing yourself and learning about in the process. Because his point is like, look, this is at the stage where electronics and homebrew computer kits were before Apple or before IBM or any of that kind of stuff. So that we're at a stage now where we should be selling bio kits in the same way that we sold 150-in-1 electronics kits. And he's just an amazing guy who really is really sort of trying to buck this, trying to butt up against the established system and fear of this stuff, and saying like, look, it's out there, it exists in nature. We have to educate ourselves and our kids about this stuff. So I'm really big on that. And I thought one of the fun ways in could be through this basically it's a mushroom cultivation course, which is kind of interesting. I've taken their biotech bioengineering 101, which was amazing. I want to do it again actually, because now that I've gone through like 71 great courses, biology lectures, I feel I would be better served to go through that biotech 101 again. So definitely sign up. There's no gouging going on. He has great prices. I don't work for him. I do not owe him anything other than just sort of appreciation and gratitude. He did get me out to biohack the planet last time we were actually doing conventions in the real world, and I truly like a life-changing experience and meeting people who I so admire, or who terrify me, or who just basically intimidate me incredibly. Just things that people are doing. Some of them very young, and just incredible. So, do I have a link? Can I put links in here? What do I do here? Can I do that? Is that all messages? No, I just have chat options. Am I able to actually chat? I don't think I can. I must be able to. No, I've just got chat options. Huh. Well, I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, if you go to thetechbandits.com, if you go to my site, thetechbandits.com, there's a ton of information there about what I've been playing with and stuff. And if you look up the Odin or biohacking or that kind of stuff, stuff will come up. I am using Streamlabs, but not for this. Can I use Streamlabs for this as well? I bet you I can. My son was nagging me about that for Twitch. So I do tech. I am Tech Banditry on Twitch.tv, and so we do all of our Tech Bandits live on that. We're doing a Dungeons and Dragons this afternoon. Actually, we're doing. Well, I think one of the things that's kind of good for pushing kids' creativity and working together and teamwork and cyber skills and all that kind of stuff is playing Dungeons and Dragons online. So we're playing a game of Dungeons and Dragons today at, was it 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for those of you who are interested. What was that big long chunk that came through? Colombia. Hello, Emperador again. Is university traditional education still relevant today, or can we complement that with online education? It's a good question. I mean, I think if anyone wants to go to university, they should totally go to university. There's a whole life experience aspect to that. And I think also if you don't know what you want to do, university is a great place for that, right? Where you can go and be introduced to lots of different studies and such that you wouldn't know about otherwise. So I do think it's important. I think though that there's this sort of assumption that you're going to go to school for X number of years and you come out and now you know what you're doing. And the reality is, I think universities will become more of a subscription service where you basically, it's not what university do you go to, it's what university do you subscribe to. Because I think that, everything we do needs to be updated on such a regular basis. There's this sort of fallacy that you're going to go in, you come out after the X number of years and you are a professional. You're just not. And you're certainly not going to remain a good one if you don't keep up to date on your skills and stuff. I think the most important skill I feel that I can pass on is that I am sort of what I would call contagiously curious. I go down every rabbit hole I find, just because I just want to know how things work. I'm just fascinated by a lot of this stuff. I always have been, but I've never been good at sort of that sort of traditional approach to learning, and I can't sit still and I can't stay on topic and I need to bounce around, and it's a very sort of ADHD, or as I call it, squirrel approach to education. But I think that kind of works with kids, and we've got a lot of different types of kids working with us on Tech Bandits now, where you've got some kids who are kind of like neurotypical and do very well in school and are outstanding students, and then there are other ones who obviously just don't engage in a school setting, but they do enjoy Tech Bandits, whether it's in a live setting or whether it's just lurking and listening. I've got some kids who just text me. I just get the odd little Discord, message from them saying like, "Hey, what about this?" or "How about this?" or "What do I do for this?" And honestly, I'm as excited about that as I am about the ones that show up every week and work with me, because I like the idea that this whole Tech Bandits thing becomes a resource for kids who are just interested in learning stuff with no strings attached. And if I But any of the money I get, I put towards things like we have an Adobe account that, thanks to Patreons and subscribers and stuff, I can cover for the kids. So I've got I pay full. I felt that I pay full price for my own, but I did sneak a little educational version for the kids because I felt that was legit. So I got a special subscription, special education subscription to Adobe Creative Cloud for them, so they can get in when they need to. I mean, they don't a lot, to be honest, but I just want it there for them. And also when people help me out with things, like my sister helping me out on stuff, then she can access that account if she needs to as well, because I feel like it's part of the Tech Bandits thing. So I love Adobe. I mean, the weird thing though is that the kids are working almost entirely on iPads and stuff now, right? So the thing I see potentially in the future is that unless Adobe and stuff get wise to this stuff quickly, we're going to see these apps take over, because all of the art my son does is done on an iPad now. It's the iPad Pro with a pencil, and while that's sort of prohibitively expensive right now, I said I will give you enough money to buy like a Chromebook, because that's what we would have got you for school. If you want something fancy like a freaking iPad Pro thing, then you can pay for that. So he to his credit, he took this $700 or whatever it was that we were willing to pay for the Chromebook, and added $700 of his own, and has bought this thing, and pencils and pens and all sorts of stuff, and not pencils and pens, pencils and keyboards and stuff, and that's basically his like go-to computer now, which makes me as a PC nerd makes me very nervous, because I'm like, yikes, what do we how's this going to work? Because this is a whole different way of approaching computing. Like it's so intuitive, the iPad, so much more than the PCs. I completely understand. And also I sort of embrace that, because it's like Scratch programming. People say, oh, Scratch programming is not really programming. It's really programming, because it's a computer doing things getting the boring stuff out of the way so you can get on with actually making it do something. And that's the whole point of code, is not to code. The point of code is to get things done. So I think especially at a young age, that's not to say that I don't love seeing how code works. I mean, I will literally, download code and look at it to see what it's doing and how it's doing it, just to get a sense of how that works. But I'm a nerd. The kids want to see something happen, and they want something immediate to happen. And that is the beauty of something like Scratch, where you can use Scratch programming to get an Arduino to turn a servo, or to blink some lights, or and that seems like a miracle to us, but to the kids it's like, yeah, big deal, whatever. I want to build a robot. I want to, there's just so many things that are available to them if they're interested to look. So I feel that the key is not trying to teach them stuff. The key is to try to find things that will inspire them to go down those rabbit holes and come out as basically as well trained as many of these university students, because they've taken the time to sort of scour the internet for the information they need. And that's certainly what we learned from Nate, the musician guy. Both music and gaming were both things that he did not learn in school, that were not, promoted in school for him particularly, and were things that because he was interested in it, he pursued it himself. So I love those kind of stories, because I feel like that's my own story, right? Although that's not entirely true. Acting, the fact of the matter was, I think teachers were desperate to try to find something for me to connect with. And they saw me making little films with my friends and went, oh, okay, maybe acting is what he should be doing. So, that's slightly out of order. There was Doctor Who first, and then Doctor Who made me want to become an actor. And then I ran around telling everyone I was going to be an actor. And then luckily a couple of teachers put me in plays, and then friends approached about films and stuff. And so I've literally been doing this since I was 13 or 14, which is why I want to do the Film Bandit stuff, because I feel like this is an age. If I can get the kids at 13 or 14 interested in the nuts and bolts of production, or all the ancillary stuff around production that I think is almost more exciting, like visual effects or prop making, or the whole cosplay thing is a fantastic way into the film industry. And also, I think this isn't just for kids. I think it's for parents, it's for educators, and there's a lot of people out there who are like, maybe I'd like to do that. And I think that it'd be just kind of fun to get into that. Megan, exactly. So that I want to act. How do I get started? That's what I want to talk about with Film Bandits, for sure. Honestly, you're on YouTube. So I think the best thing to do now, if you want to act or write or direct or get into the film industry in any way, is just to make stuff. And whether that's make your own films, write your own films, write a nice little monologue of the kind of parts that you want to play, and then record it, and you've got yourself a demo reel. That's the beauty of the technology today. I don't think you should be waiting. The mistake I think a lot of actors, including myself, have made is that they wait for people to discover them, and no one discovers people like that way, or it's very, very rare that it happens. You have to be out there pushing it, and I think that makes a big, big difference. So even the best actors still laugh sometimes. What? No, never. I don't laugh. So true. My son's school don't teach hard science. I'm doing my best for the basics, starting with space, planets, basic physics. Yeah, that's great. This is the thing is, I think. But again, I be careful with the teaching, because you'll get to an age with the kids, I find, where they don't want to listen to you. You're wrong. You're dad. You're always wrong. So I think if you can arm them with a love of this stuff, they will, I hope, come around to that, if not immediately take to it. So, I think Baz is fairly resistive to this stuff, and then every so often he'll come in and go like, I've got a great idea for Tech Bandits, and then he's sort of fully engaged, and that's great to me. I don't want the kids to feel forced into this stuff at all. And I think that when learning becomes a chore, I think you lose them. You lose me. You lost me. That's generally the way it goes. So, all right, I said I wasn't going to talk for long, and here I go. I'm coming up for an hour. Don't laugh. They won't pick you for the part. You need to be what? Don't laugh. What? Serious about the part. LOL. I find Star Talk with Neil Tyson really helpful. Oh, that's good. Oh, good. I'll have a look at that. Mr. DeGrasse Tyson. That was a great episode, wasn't it, Sharon? That was fantastic. Thanks for chatting with us. You answered all my questions. You were awesome. Have an excellent day and learn on. We love you. Thanks, Megan. And as I say, I'm going to try to do a Game Bandits approach to Tech Bandits. Does that make sense? I'm getting so confused with all the names. Basically talk about film, TV, production, prop making, all that kind of stuff. Just things that, just the fun VFX, all the kind of cool things you could get into. And I'll see if I can find some people to sort of help make that easier for people as well. And hopefully maybe get some deals on software and tools and such that can be sort of a benefit to people trying to get into it as well. So and get the kids into it too. Like, I mean, I'd love the kids to be in here building Stargates and stuff. Maybe not Stargates, probably Star Wars Mandalorian stuff, but something like that. All right, I'm going to say adieu. Be safe, be kind, be brilliant. So hoping that our new president is going to make a difference and a good difference. I think it's a very good sign that we saw a memorial for all of the people who have died because of this horrible disease. My uncle, my wife's uncle as well. Different uncles, just to be very clear. This is a miserable disease, and we really need to sort of knuckle down and make sure that we are careful until these jabs can be sent out and we can all get ourselves vaccinated. So until we again, I shall say a fair adieu. I'll say cheerio, and as I've now named my dog, huzzah! Cheers! See you tonight, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for some D&D and thetechbandits.com. Thank you. Bye.